My husband, Marquis Yongyan Xiaowangye, returned from outside with a face full of joy. Behind him followed the small sedan chair carrying my newly widowed cousin-in-law Lin Rutang, preparing to bring her in as an equal wife. Madam, after Rutang enters the household, you must be more accommodating. His words got stuck in his throat, because what he saw was not a festively decorated celebration hall, but an utterly empty marquee manor. The Imperial plaque that originally hung in the main hall was gone. The antique vases placed on the curio shelves were gone. Even the rosewood armchair he loved sitting in most was gone. The entire marquee manor seemed to have been robbed by thieves, leaving only bare walls and dust all over the floor. I stood in the courtyard, directing several hundred strong and sturdy workers who were loading a large water vat onto a cart. Xiaowangye, you are back. I dusted off my hands and smiled with calm indifference. Since you are taking an equal wife, I'll vacate the position of the manor's mistress for cousin-in-law. However, every blade of grass and tree, every brick and tile in this marquee manor was furnished with my dowry. I don't want the man anymore, but naturally, I am taking my things with me. Oh right, that cloud brocade robe you are wearing also came from my fabric shop. Take it off. Xiaowangye froze completely in place, like a weathered stone sculpture. From the sedan chair behind him, Lin Rutang seemed to sense something was wrong. A slender hand lifted the sedan curtain, revealing a small face glistening with tears, like pear blossoms in the rain. Xiaolang, what is wrong? Is sister unwilling to let me in? Her voice was sweet and delicate, as if she had suffered a great injustice. Normally, Xiaowangye would have rushed over to scold me for being inconsiderate, but at this moment, he could only stare wide-eyed, pointing at the empty courtyard with trembling fingers. Shen Qingqiu, have you gone mad? This is the Marquis' manor, an imperially bestowed residence. What the hell are you doing? I smoothed out non-existent wrinkles on my sleeves, my expression calm. My lord has poor eyesight. I am not crazy. I am making room for the newcomer. Since my lord wants to take my sister-in-law as an equal wife, claiming it is to care for the widow and orphan. I am the most kind-hearted person. Since I am fulfilling your deep and righteous bond, naturally I should leave clean and thorough. Xiaowangye's face turned ashen with rage as he strode forward, because even the paving stones on the ground had been pried up by me, leaving nothing but mud. He stumbled forward with uneven steps, and by the time he reached me, his boots were covered in mud. Making room? You made room by prying up the floor tiles. You even removed the main hall's doors. Shen Qingqiu, have you no shame? I let out a cold laugh and pulled out a thick ledger from my sleeve. Shame, Xiaowangye, you dare talk to me about shame. These floor tiles were brought from Suzhou at a cost of 1,000 taels of silver in my second year after marrying into this family, because I found the old ones too worn. This main hall door is made of rosewood. I paid for it myself to replace the old one on my 3rd birthday here. And this beam above your head was also bought by me at great expense 5 years ago after termites hollowed out the old one. It is made of Nanmu wood. I closed the account book and patted his chest lightly. In this Marquis' manor, aside from this plot of land granted by the Emperor, everything built, laid, placed, and used here, which one doesn't bear the Shen name. Since I am leaving, naturally I am taking what belongs to me. You don't expect me to leave it so you can use my money to support your little darling wife, do you? The Shen family may be wealthy, but we don't have a custom of helping others keep their mistresses. Xiaowangye was left speechless by my words. Lin Rutang had already stepped out of the sedan chair by now, stepping through the mud everywhere, crying even harder. Sister, I know you don't like me, but you don't have to humiliate the Marquis like this. You are tearing down the whole house. Where will the Marquis live from now on? I turned my head and looked her up and down. Where to live? Isn't sister-in-law most skilled at keeping scholars company with her fragrant sleeves? Though this Marquis manor may be emptied, the walls still stand. The roof still remains. You two can use the sky as your cover and the earth as your dwelling, and properly reminisce about your old romance. As for humiliation, my eyes turned cold as I shouted sternly, Simone, smash that sedan chair for me. That sedan chair is also part of my dowry. I won't allow dirty things to sit in it. With my command, several burly servants immediately rushed forward. You dare, Xiaowangye shouted loudly. But no one paid attention to him. These servants were all part of my dowry from the Shen family, receiving their monthly wages from the Shen family. In their eyes there was only the young miss, no marquis whatsoever. With a loud crack, that exquisite little sedan was smashed to smithereens. Lin Rutang screamed in fright and hid behind Xiao Wangyue. Xiao Wangyue trembled with rage, pointing at me. Outrageous, outrageous. Shen Qingqiu, I am your husband, I am your heaven. You are so rebellious and unfilial. I will divorce you. Divorce me. I seem to have heard the biggest joke ever. Xiao Wangyue, get it straight. It is me who wants a mutual separation. I pulled out a separation agreement I had already written from my bosom and threw it directly in his face. I've already signed it. Hurry up and sign. After signing, we're even. Xiao Wangyue grabbed that paper, didn't even look at it, and tore it to shreds. Want a separation? Dream on. Once you entered the Xiao family's door. You are a person of the Xiao family in life, a ghost of the Xiao family in death. You want to run off with the dowry? No way. I looked at the paper scraps flying everywhere, not angry at all. It is fine. You tore up one. I still have 10 more. Chun Tao, give the Marquise another one. The maid Chun Tao immediately handed over a brand new divorce agreement. I said unhurriedly, Xiao Wangyue, you think if you don't sign, I am out of options. These past few years, every single expense of the Marquis Manor. What you owe me is way more than just a mansion. I turned around and shouted at the workers moving things. Move faster. That canopy bed in the east wing. Be careful when dismantling it, that is rosewood. Those few Shiba Shueshi camellia plants in the garden. Dig them up with the soil. The stove in the kitchen, take down the iron wok, that is top quality wrought iron too. Xiao Wangyue watched the busy crowd, his eyes nearly popping out. You are even dismantling the stove. I turned back and gave him a bright smile. Of course. This double-eared iron wok right now. I spent 5 taels of silver on it. I'd rather use it to feed dogs than leave it for you to cook with. At this moment, several workers were carrying a huge curio cabinet past. Xiao Wangyue's sharp eyes immediately spotted an inkstone placed on top. That is my Duan inkstone. That is my family heirloom. He rushed over trying to snatch it. I gave a look to the guard beside me. The guard blocked him with one move. I walked over, picked up that inkstone, and weighed it in my hand. An ancestral heirloom? Xiao Wangyue, is your memory failing you? The real ancestral Duan inkstone was already taken by you to pay off gambling debts 3 years ago. This one is a replica I bought at great expense from an antique shop, worried you'd lose face for the Marquis Manor. Though it is a replica, it is still worth 500 taels of silver. Since it is something you lost, it no longer belongs to you. With that, I loosened my grip. Crack. The Duan inkstone worth 500 taels smashed on the ground, shattered into pieces. Xiao Wangyue cried out in anguish, nearly fainting. Shen Qingqiu, you shrew, you spendthrift woman! I looked at him coldly. Spendthrift. I am squandering my Shen family's fortune. Your Xiao family, do you even have any fortune left to squander? Seeing the hard approach wasn't working, Lin Rutang started with the soft approach. Her eyes darted around, then she walked before me and dropped to her knees with a thud. Sister, every mistake is my fault. Don't quarrel with young Master Xiao because of me. If sister truly cannot tolerate me, I'll just leave. With that, she made as if to ram into the door frame. Of course, that door frame had already been removed by me, leaving only a bare wall pier. Xiao Wangyue grabbed her hand, his heart aching terribly. Rutang, what are you doing? The one who should leave is this venomous woman. Lin Rutang cried pitifully, turning to look at me. Sister, I beg you, please leave Xiao Lang some dignity. If the Marquis Manor is emptied, how will Xiao Lang establish himself in the capital in the future? You are also the lady of the Marquis Manor. If the manor loses face, you'll be embarrassed too. I had to admire this woman's level of skill. Every word seemed to be for Xiao Wangyu's sake, yet every word was accusing me of being inconsiderate. I sneered. Cousin, in-law, those words sound really nice. Since cousin, in-law cares so much about Xiao Wangyue, why don't you pay to furnish this Marquis Manor again? Lin Rutang's expression stiffened. I am just a widow with a child. Where would I get the money? I nodded. Oh, no money then. If you have no money, what are you pretending to be a big shot for? Since you have no money, then shut up. I turned around and continued directing the move. Go, lead all the horses from the stable in the back courtyard away. Those few sweating blood horses were birthday gifts from my father. And the feed in the troughs, that is premium quality feed, take it too. Don't let it benefit some wild horses outside. When Wang heard I was taking the horses, he completely panicked. Those were his means of transportation and also his bragging capital in front of that bunch of fair weather friends. Shen Qingqiu, you can't take the horse. That is my mount. I paid no attention. Your mount, that is my horse. If you want to ride, you can go ride that donkey. Oh right. That donkey was also bought by me to pull the millstone. Then you'd better walk. At this moment the steward in charge of moving the study ran over. Miss, the books in the study, should we move them? Wang seemed to grasp at a lifeline. Books are sacred objects of the sages. You can't take those too. And those books are all rare editions passed down through my Shao family. I walked into the study, looking at the shelves full of books indeed. Some were left behind by the Shao family, but I casually pulled out a book and flipped through it, all eaten by bookworms. The rare editions passed down through the Shao family were already sold off by your father's generation. What is left here are all decorations I bought from bookstores to fill the shelves. Many of them don't even have words inside, just empty shells. I threw that fake book on the ground. This kind of thing just takes up space. Someone, take the bookshelves, leave the books on the ground. Also, take down all the calligraphy and paintings from the walls. Those authentic paintings by Tang Bohu. I spent a fortune to acquire them. Wang looked at his study that had been completely ransacked, with only a pile of tattered books and papers left, his whole body trembling. You are simply a bandit. I raised my eyebrow. Bandit, Wang One must have a conscience. Bandits rob other people's things. I am taking back my own things, that is returning them to their rightful owner. But you occupying my dowry, and refusing to return it, yet still wanting to take a concubine. That is true banditry. At this moment, quite a crowd of onlookers had already gathered at the entrance of the Marquise's manor. After all, the commotion was too big. Several hundred people, dozens of large carts, a mighty procession. Those who didn't know would think the Marquise's manor was being raided. Wang cared most about face, and seeing so many people pointing and gossiping, his face turned the color of pig liver. Shen Qingqiu, have you made enough of a scene? Do you want everyone in the capital to laugh at me? I stood on the steps looking down at him from above. Laugh at you. Wang do your jokes need me to watch? You rely on your wife's dowry to eat, drink and play, yet keep a mistress outside. This joke has already spread throughout the capital. Today, I am going to let everyone see that without my Shen family, what kind of empty shell this Yong'an Marquis manor really is. Just then, my gaze fell upon the cloud brocade robe he was wearing. This fabric, called flowing light brocade, was worth its weight in gold. I specifically had someone custom make it from the Zhengyan weaving bureau. Wearing it on him, he really does look presentable. Almost forgot. I walked toward him step by step. Wang instinctively stepped back. What do you want to do? I reached out my hand, pointing at his clothes. Take them off. Wang's eyes widened. What did you say? These clothes were also bought with my money. Since we're settling accounts, let's settle them thoroughly. Girls, when I say I screamed, Shen Qingqiu didn't just cancel his credit cards, she literally repossessed the clothes off his back. Wang thought he was casually dropping his sugar mama for a shiny new toy. But she said, not in the designer silk I bought you, buddy, leaving a cheating man barefoot in his boxers in front of the whole neighborhood. Now, that is how you set a boundary. It's petty, it's fierce, and I am entirely here for it. Drip. Wang clutched his collar tightly. I won't take them off in broad daylight with everyone watching. Oh, so you know there are people watching. I let out a cold laugh. When you took my money to redeem the top courtesan from the brothel, how come you didn't care about people watching? When you wore the clothes I bought you to secretly meet your cousin's wife, how come you didn't care about people watching? I waved my hand. Two rough servant women immediately rushed forward. These two women used to be pig butchers, incredibly strong. Lord Marquis, pardon the offense. They flanked him on both sides, and pinned Wang down directly. How dare you? You dare to touch this Marquis? Wang struggled desperately. But how could he be a match for these two old women? A crisp sound of tearing fabric. That priceless flowing brocade robe was forcibly stripped off him. Xiao Wangyu was left standing in the wind in disarray, wearing only his white inner garment. The surrounding commoners burst into laughter. Oh my, why is this marquis stripped naked? I heard the entire marquis' household relies on the marquis's wife for support. Now, it is over. She is not supporting him anymore. Even taking back his clothes. This is too miserable. Miserable what? He deserves it. Using his wife's money to keep a mistress. This kind of man should leave with nothing. Lin Rutang turned pale with fright seeing this scene. She rushed forward wanting to cover Xiao Wangyu with clothes, only to find she only had a handkerchief in her hand. Sister, you've gone too far. This is the marquis. I took the brocade robe handed over by the old woman and looked at it with disgust. It is dirty. Take it and burn it. Even if burned to ash, it is still the Shen family's ash. I turned to look at the trembling Xiao Wangyu. Marquis, you should be grateful. That inner garment you are wearing was given by your mother, so I didn't strip it. Otherwise, you'd be standing here bare, ass today. Xiao Wangyu was dying of shame and anger, his eyes bloodshot. Shen Qingqiu, I'll fight you to the death. He swung his fists and was about to charge over. Before I could make a move, a stern voice came from the doorway. Stop, a dignified marquis manor. In such chaos, what kind of decorum is this? The arrivals were a group of white-bearded old men. The Xiao family elders had finally arrived. Leading them was Xiao Wangyu's third grand-uncle, Xiao Wangyue, as if seeing his savior scrambled over on all fours. Third grand-uncle, you must stand up for me. This venomous woman, she is going to tear down the marquis manor. Third grand-uncle looked at the mess all over the courtyard, so angry his beard stood straight up. He leaned on his cane, walked up to me, and thumped it heavily on the ground. Lady Shen, are you trying to rebel? Since ancient times, a married woman follows her husband. You actually dare to treat your husband like this, and even dare to empty out the marquis manor, simply not observing wifely virtues. I looked at this group of stubborn old fools, my heart completely unmoved. In the past, for the sake of Xiao Wangyu's face, I endured this bunch of old bastards in every way. During holidays and festivals, I sent them gifts large and small. The repair costs for their homes, the tuition fees for their grandsons. Which one wasn't paid by me? Now, I am done pretending. Third grand. Uncle, you really know how to pin a big label on someone. However, have you forgotten? This is the Yong'an Marquis Manor, not the Xiao family ancestral hall. I am a lady of Imperial mandate personally conferred by the Emperor. Although you are an elder, you are merely a commoner. In this household, it is not your place to lecture me. Third granduncle was so angry at me he nearly choked. Me, what? I cut him off directly. Third granduncle, since you are here, you might as well bear witness. These are the Iwas for what Xiao Wangyu has owed me all these years. I had Chuntao bring out that entire chest of account books. Xiao Wangyu has held the title for 5 years, and the Marquis estate has had no income whatsoever. The food, clothing, and expenses for all 120 people in the entire estate have all been subsidized by me, and all you clan elders. My gaze swept across that group of old men. Third granduncle, last year for your birthday, that golden longevity statue, I paid for it. 800 taels. Fifth granduncle, the bribery fees for your grandson to study at the Imperial Academy. I paid for it, 500 taels. Seventh granduncle, when your family built a new house, those 2,000 taels of silver were also taken from the Marquis estate's accounts. I remember all of this. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. They had always thought this money came from the Marquis estate's public funds, never imagining it all came from my own pocket. Or rather, they knew, they just pretended not to know. Since everyone's here, let's settle the accounts together. Even if this Marquis estate were emptied out, it wouldn't be enough to cover the debts. All you elders who took my money, shouldn't you cough it back up? We all know the pain of toxic in-laws, right? These crusty old men really tried to pull the traditional wifely duties card to protect their freeloading nephew. But our queen brought her Excel spreadsheets. She whipped out those IOs like a prosecuting attorney. The way she weaponized her financial boundaries against those hypocritical elders is chef's kiss. Ladies, take notes. Always keep the receipts if they want to play traditional games. They can pay traditional prices. Third grand uncle's face flushed red as he argued unreasonably. That was your filial gift to us as a granddaughter-in-law. How can you ask back for something you've already given away? I sneered. Filial gift. What I gave was to the elders of the Shao family, to the relatives of the Marquis Manor. Now that I am divorcing Shao Wengyue, we have no relationship anymore. Since we have no relationship, why should I give you money? I am not some charity boy scattering wealth, I said to the accountant behind me. Sort out all the ayos from these elders, since they want to follow the rules. Then we'll do things by the rules. Debts must be repaid, it is only natural. If they can't pay up, then let's meet at the Yamen courthouse. Hearing about going to the Yamen, this group of old men instantly chickened out. Though they had high seniority, they'd never faced anything like this. And if this really made it to court, it would be the Shao family losing face. Third granduncle's earlier momentum vanished instantly, his tone softening. You are being unreasonable about this. Couples fight at the head of the bed and make up at the foot. Why make things so tense? Though Wang Yu was wrong, he is still a marquis after all. Taking a second wife isn't such a big deal. Not a big deal. My eyes turned cold. To me, this is the biggest deal there is. Shen Qingqiu cannot tolerate even a grain of sand in my eyes. Either he divorces me and returns the money, or I'll report this to the emperor, and charge him with favoring a concubine over his wife and squandering family assets. By then, whether he can keep his title or not will be hard to say. This statement directly hit the weak spot of Shao Wangyu and the clan elders. The title was the Shao family's last fig leaf. If they lost the title, they would truly have nothing left. Shao Wangyue's face turned deathly pale, finally realizing I was serious. He looked at me, fear showing in his eyes for the first time. Shen Qingqiu, are you really going to be this ruthless? I looked at him and said slowly, it is not that I am ruthless. It is that you are too greedy. You want both my money and your true love. Where in this world is there such a cheap deal? By this time, the moving was nearly finished. The originally magnificent Marquis Manor now looked like ruins that had just been ransacked. Even the window paper had been punctured by my people, because that was expensive Goryeo paper I had specially bought. In the entire courtyard, aside from Mud and Shao Wangyue standing there stupidly, there was nothing left. I had people set up a table in the middle of the courtyard. This was one I brought myself, not leaving it for him. The sound of the abacus clattered loudly. That was the sound of money, and also the sound of Shao Wangyue's heartbreaking. Manor repair costs, 30,000 taels. Daily expenses, 50,000 taels over 5 years. Social obligations, 20,000 taels. Shao family clan subsidy, 10,000 taels. And also, I pointed at Lin Rutang's sister. In-law's outfit, although it looks plain. But that white jade hairpin on her head is from my storeroom, isn't it? The jade bracelet on her wrist is also the pair I couldn't find the other day, right? Lin Rutang instinctively covered her wrist, her face deathly pale. Shao Lang gave these to me, using my things to curry favor. The Marquis is really so generous. I stretched out my hand. Take them off. Lin Rutang looked pleadingly toward Shao Wangyue. Shao Wangyue gritted his teeth. Give them to her. Give her everything. These worthless things. I'll buy you better ones later. Lin Rutang reluctantly removed the jewelry and placed it on the table. The accountant moved his abacus beads, jewelry depreciation, 500 taels. Adding the previous amounts, total is 118,500 taels. I looked at this number and nodded with satisfaction. Did you hear that? Shao Wangyu, deducting the 40,000 taels for the things moved out today. You still owe me 78,500 taels. Hearing this number, Shao Wangyu's legs went weak and he nearly collapsed to his knees. 70,000 taels? Why don't you just go rob someone? All of this can be verified in the accounts. I pushed the account book in front of him. If you don't accept it, we can go to the Court of Judicial Review and ask the minister to help verify it. Shao Wangyue's entire body turned ice cold. Where could he possibly come up with 70,000 taels? Even selling the Shao family ancestral graves wouldn't be worth that much money. I don't have the money. He squeezed out these words through clenched teeth. I smiled, smiling like a benevolent creditor. No money is easy to handle. Write an IOU. The interest will be calculated at 9 out 13 back. Yue, since you love your cousin-in-law so much that you are willing to abandon your lawful wife for her, then bearing this bit of debt should also be something you are willing to do, right? Yue looked at me, his eyes full of resentment and poison. But he had no other choice. Under the gaze of several hundred burly men, amid the helpless sighs of the clan elders, Yue pressed his trembling hand down, stamping his handprint on that IOU for 78,500 taels. From now on, this high and mighty marquis would be a long-term laborer working for me. The IOU was signed. The divorce papers were also signed. I picked up that thin piece of paper and blew dry the ink on it. My heart felt a wave of relief. Finally, I had gotten rid of this enormous burden. I stood up and straightened my clothes. All right, now that we've settled the accounts, I should be going. I wish the Marquise and my cousin-in-law a harmonious marriage, and may you have children soon. Oh right. I suddenly remembered something and stopped in my tracks. The servants in this Marquis manor, except for those from my dowry, all have their indenture contracts held by the manor. Yue breathed a sigh of relief. Good, at least there are still people to serve him. But my next words plunged him into an icy abyss. However, I haven't paid them their monthly wages for 3 months. Since we've separated, naturally the Marquis should be the one paying these wages. I just asked them, and hearing that the Marquis has no money, they're all threatening to go to the authorities to redeem their freedom. I pointed to the group of household servants in the corner who originally belonged to the manor. Each of them stared at Yu with hostile eyes. Without the mistress's purse, who would want to serve this empty shell Marquis? Marquise, you are on your own now. With that, I walked out of the manor gates without looking back. Behind me was utter chaos, and that Marquis standing in the cold wind in his undergarments, shivering, along with that bride who hadn't even entered the household yet, but was already facing massive debts. This show has only just begun. I got into the carriage and leaned back comfortably against the cushions. Chontao looked at me with admiration. Miss, you are absolutely amazing. This servant just saw the Marquise's face. It was even darker than the bottom of a pot. I smiled faintly. That is impressive. The more impressive part is still to come. Send someone to watch the Marquise's manor. I want to know what they're eating tonight. If they don't even have rice, remember to have someone sell them some moldy old rice. After all, I am also someone who values old sentiments. Chuntao burst out laughing. Miss, you are really too wicked. This is called mercy. I closed my eyes in an excellent mood. Without that bottomless pit, I felt like my purse was cheering. Shen Qingqiu, your good days are still ahead, and Yu's bitter days have only just begun. After I left, the Marquise's manor didn't return to peace, according to the spy left behind. A big fight broke out that very night. The cause was simple hunger. The kitchen had been emptied by me. Not even a single grain of rice was left. The stove was gone too, leaving only a dark hole. Yu wore thin undergarments, shivering from the cold. He looked at Lin Rutang, hoping this gentle and understanding beauty could conjure up a table of steaming hot food. Rutang, go make something to eat. Lin Rutang was dumbfounded. She used to be a dependent young miss living under someone else's roof. Though not wealthy, she never had to lift a finger. Moreover, even the cleverest housewife can't cook without rice. Xiaolang, there is nothing in the kitchen at all. Then go buy some. Yue shouted irritably. Lin Rutang touched her empty wrist pitifully. I had confiscated all her jewelry, and she didn't have much money on her. I don't have any money either. Only then did Yu remember that all his money was with me, and he was now drowning in debt. The two stared at each other, finally experiencing what poverty brings 100 sorrows to couples truly meant. In the end, Yu had to pawn his personal jade pendant. He exchanged it for a few taels of silver, bought 2 quilts and some food. Unfortunately, the Marquis manor was too large, too empty. No charcoal fire, no furniture. 2 quilts spread on the icy cold floor, wind pouring in through the broken windows. That night, this miserable pair of lovebirds huddled together, shivering. No red candles behind silk curtains, only bitter wind and cold rain. Early the next morning, an even bigger crisis erupted. Those servants who couldn't get their monthly wages started to rebel. Not only did they refuse to work, they even stole and ate the breakfast Xiao Wangyu had bought last night. Xiao Wangyu was so angry he wanted to hit someone, but ended up being shoved to the ground by several strong young servants. No money, and you still want to boss us around. What about the Marquis? The Marquis has to pay too. If you don't pay up, we'll tear down this house to settle the debt. Xiao Wangyue had never suffered such humiliation. He looked at the chaotic Marquis manor, looked at Lin Rutang, who could only cry and whimper. Suddenly, an image of me managing the household in perfect order flashed through his mind. Back then, he only needed to stretch out his hand for clothes and open his mouth for food. Even in winter, the rooms were as warm as spring days, with silver frost charcoal never running out. But now, it is all because of you. Xiao Wangyue suddenly flew into a rage and slapped Lin Rutang across the face. If it weren't for you wanting to come in, how would Shen Qingqiu have left? If it weren't for you, this jinx, how would this marquise have fallen to this state? Lin Rutang covered her face, looking in disbelief at this man who had sworn eternal love to her just yesterday. That filter called true love shattered to pieces in the face of hunger and cold. When the scout reported back to me, I was sitting in my own restaurant, eating bird's nest porridge. Hearing this, I simply blew gently on the steam from my spoon. Can't take it already? The good show is still to come. Pass down the order. All shops under the Shen family name are not to extend credit to the Marquis Manor. I want them to know that in this capital, without the Shen family, they can't move an inch. The third day after leaving the Marquis Manor, I hosted a grand banquet. The location was at the capital's most luxurious restaurant, of course, also my property. I sent out invitations far and wide, inviting the noble ladies and wealthy merchants of the capital. Nominally, it was to celebrate my return to freedom, but in reality, it was to showcase the Shen family's power. That day, I wore a crimson flowing fairy dress, adorned with a golden phoenix hairpin, stunningly beautiful. No longer the meek pushover in the Marquise's manor, who had to scrimp and save every penny. At the banquet, it was dazzling and splendid, with delicacies from land and sea. Every dish was worth a fortune, the guests exclaimed one after another. This is the true demeanor of Miss Shen, that Xiao Wangyue be blind, pushing away the god of wealth. I heard the Marquise's manor can't even afford candles now. It is pitch black at night. This is what they call reaping what you sow. Just as the banquet reached its climax, an uninvited guest barged in. It was none other than Xiao Wangyue. After just 3 days, he seemed to have aged 10 years. Sunken eyes, stubbled face, his clothes all wrinkled and disheveled. He rushed in, and seeing the hall full of wealth and splendor, his eyes turned red. "Qingqiu, Qingqiu!" He pushed aside the servants trying to stop him and rushed to my side. "I know you are still angry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken a concubine. I'll drive that woman away. Just come back with me. The Marquise's manor can't do without you." The entire hall fell silent. Everyone looked at him like they were watching a monkey. I put down my wine glass and elegantly wiped my mouth. "Xiao Wangyue, do you not understand human speech?" I said. "We're even. Water that has been spilled out. Even the basin is unwanted. How could it possibly be taken back?" Xiao Wangyue dropped to his knees with a thud. "Qingqiu, I really know I was wrong. We have feelings for each other. For the sake of our time as husband and wife's sake." I interrupted him and pulled out a piece of paper from my sleeve. "Since you are here, might as well settle these past few days' interest. These 3 days calculated at 9 out 13 back. You owe me another 500 taels. Pay up, or get lost." Xiao Wangyue looked at that IOU, his face turning from red to white, from white to green. Finally, amid the crowd's mocking laughter, he was thrown out by the tavern's guards like trash. I stood by the window watching his figure scrambling up pathetically on the street. The last trace of gloom in my heart completely dissipated. "Xiao Wangyue, this is just the beginning. I'll make you watch with your own eyes how I climb to the peak step by step, and you can only sink deeper and deeper in the mud." After all that commotion, I rode in that canopied carriage pulled by 4 pure white steeds, and headed straight back to my maiden home, the Duke Protector's manor. Before I even entered the door, my father, the Duke Protector Shen Xiao, and my eldest brother Shen Qinghe, who held the position of Minister of the Court of Judicial Review, were already waiting at the entrance with 2 rows of household servants. Seeing me get out of the carriage, my father's face, which was supremely dignified in the Imperial court, instantly streamed with tears. "My dear daughter, you've suffered so much. That little brat from the Shao family dares to bully you like this." I took my father's arm, smiling calmly. "Father, your daughter hasn't suffered. Your daughter just went to do poverty relief for 5 years, and now I've figured it out. I don't want to do it anymore. Besides, your daughter brought back all the dowry, even the pair of stone lions at his family's gate. I had people haul them back too." Elder brother Shen Qinghe snorted coldly, a flash of killing intent in his eyes. "How is emptying it out enough? That bastard Xiao Wangyue lied on our Shen family's influence to keep his title, yet he dares to favor his concubine and destroy his wife. Little sister, don't worry. I'll have people investigate the Marquis of Yong'an's rotten accounts from these years right away. Not only will I leave his family destitute, I'll also ruin his reputation completely." At this moment, I deeply felt what it means to have backing. I am the legitimate eldest daughter of the Duke Protector's manor, and behind me stands half the Imperial court. A mere declining Marquis manor dares to challenge me, truly courting death. Xiao Wangyue looked at the empty Marquis manor, originally hoping that those clan elders could stand up for him. Who knew? Those old foxes heard I returned to the Duke Protector's manor and ran faster than rabbits. Every single one of them. Are you kidding? Duke Protector Shen Shao is a first-rank official of the current dynasty, holding military power. Who would dare offend the Duke Protector for the sake of an empty shell Marquis? That very night, Xiao Wangyu and Lin Rutang tasted the bitter fruit. Not only was there no food to eat, there wasn't even water to drink. Because I had cut the well rope and taken it with me, Lin Rutang complained tearfully. Why didn't even the patrol guards of the capital magistrate care when they saw our manor on fire? Xiao Wangyue shouted irritably, "Shut up! Shen Qingqu's father is the Duke Protector. The capital magistrate is her uncle's disciple. Right now, we're calling to heaven and heaven won't answer. Calling to earth and earth won't respond." Just then, a commotion came from outside the gate. It turned out the managers of several major merchant houses in the capital had arrived together. "Lord Marquis, the ruby headdress set you ordered at Treasure Pavilion last month hasn't been paid for yet. Lord Marquis, the banquet bill at Drunken Immortal Tower also needs to be settled." Xiao Wangyu's eyes wide. Didn't it used to be put on the Marquis Manor's account? And Madame Shen would settle it at the end of the month. The managers smiled without warmth. Lord Marquis jests. "Miss Shen has already made it clear that from now on, the Shen family and the Marquis Manor have severed all ties. Before, that was Miss Shen giving you face. But now, no money. Then we'll take things as payment." A group of shop assistants charged in like wolves and tigers. Although I had moved away all the large items, the jade pendant on Xiao Wangyue's body, the silk clothes Lin Rutang had just changed into, and even the official boots on Xiao Wangyu's feet were all stripped off to pay the debts, the dignified Marquis was left with only a layer of inner garment standing barefoot in the wind. At this moment, he finally understood. Without the Shen family as his backing, he Xiao Wangyue was worth less than a dog. Driven to a dead end, Xiao Wangyue, in his extreme shame and rage, came up with a crazy idea: file an imperial complaint. He felt that even if the Shen family's power reached the heavens, it couldn't surpass imperial authority. He was a hereditary marquis with perpetual succession, the face of the imperial family. My humiliating him like this was slapping the imperial family's face. The next morning, in the Golden Throne Hall, Xiao Wangyue knelt on the ground, tearfully accusing me of bullying others with my power, emptying the imperially bestowed residence, and having no regard for the law. My father, the Duke Protector of the nation, stood at the head of the military officials, not even lifting an eyelid. After listening, the emperor looked at my father with profound eyes. "Minister Shen, what is your view?" My father stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, this subject failed to properly educate his daughter, allowing her to spoil her husband. However, since Marquis Xiao says my daughter emptied the Marquis's residence, why not summon my daughter to the hall for a face-to-face confrontation?" The emperor approved. I wore the court dress of a first-rank imperial mandate lady, with a 9-pheasant crown on my head, walking step by step up to the great hall. My bearing was dignified and elegant, indescribably noble. As I walked past Xiao Wangyue kneeling on the ground, I didn't even spare him a glance. "This subject's wife, Shen Qingqiu, pays respects to your Majesty." What Lord Xiao said, "This subject's wife," admits half of it. I did indeed move those things, but that wasn't moving house, that was returning things to their rightful owner. I took out a bright yellow scroll from my sleeve. It was the Imperial dowry gift list bestowed by the late Emperor when he arranged the marriage. Your Majesty, please look. When the late Emperor arranged the marriage, this subject's wife married into the Marquise's manor with a 10 red dowry procession. The 128 sets of dowry on this list were all imperially bestowed items, or treasures collected by the Shen family over generations. And there is also this account book. I presented that thick ledger. Since the old Marquis passed away, the Shao family has long been spending beyond their means. These past 5 years, the funds for repairing the manor came from this subject's wife's dowry, the funds for ancestral worship came from this subject's wife's dowry, and even the silver Lord Shao used to buy his official position and reputation was provided by this subject's wife. I turned to look at the trembling Shao Wangyu, my voice cold. Even the money Lord Shao spent keeping a mistress and buying jewelry for his cousin's wife came from my dowry. According to the laws of Great Qian, a divorced woman takes back her entire dowry. How can this be called bullying others with one's power? This is clearly Lord Shao living off a woman and being shameless about it. The absolute audacity of this man trying to sue her in front of the Emperor. It's giving major narcissist energy. He really thought his title would save him, but Qingqiu hit him with the cold, hard facts on national television. I mean, the Imperial court, hearing the whole room laugh at him for being a shameless freeloader. Perfection. She didn't just break his heart. She broke his career, his rank, and his credit score. Absolute boss moves. As soon as the words living off a woman and being shameless about it came out, the entire court burst into laughter. The Emperor's expression also darkened. He grabbed the account book, took a look, and in his fury threw it directly at Shao Wangyu's face. You bastard. As a noble, instead of thinking of serving the country, you rely on sucking the blood and flesh of your lawful wife to get by. And now you have the nerve to file an imperial complaint. You've disgraced me, disgraced all the nobles. Shao Wangyu was scared out of his wits, kowtowing desperately. Your Majesty, spare my life. This humble subject knows his mistake. The Emperor snorted coldly. Convey my decree. Marquis Yong'an Shao Wangyu. His virtue does not match his position. His household management is lax, and he falsely accused his lawful wife. Effective immediately, his salary is forfeit for 3 years, and his title is demoted to Earl. Furthermore, Lady Shen's dowry, being imperially bestowed and private property, should rightfully be returned. If he dares to harass Lady Shen again in the future, he will be severely punished without leniency. From Marquis demoted to Earl, this was a cliff. Like plunge, Shao Wangyue collapsed to the ground, his face ashen as death. He wanted to accuse me of not giving him face, but ended up losing everything. After court was dismissed, I intercepted the dispirited Shao Wangyu at the palace gate. Now he wasn't just poor, he'd become a cast-off in the entire capital's noble circles. I sat in my carriage looking down at him from above. Earl Shao, don't rush off. We haven't finished settling our accounts yet. Shao Wangyue suddenly looked up, his eyes full of fear. What more do you want? His Majesty has already punished me. I chuckled softly, toying with the jade prayer beads in my hand. His Majesty punished you for public offenses. Between us, there are still private debts. I heard that your sister-in-law Lin Rutang still has a pair of my Eastern pearl earrings hidden away. Those were meant as a reward for Chontao. Since we've divorced, they cannot remain in the hands of filth. I waved my hand. Several officers from the Court of Judicial Review immediately surrounded us. They were my elder brother's subordinates, under orders to recover the Shen family's private assets. Lord Shao, if you please. Where we were headed was none other than the Marquis manor that I had emptied out. The officers rushed in and directly dragged Lin Rutang, who was hiding inside, out. Lin Rutang was still dreaming her dream of being the Marquis's wife, clutching that pair of Eastern pearl earrings tightly in her hands. What are you doing? I am the Lord's equal wife, the officer sneered. Equal wife? Lord Shao can't even support himself now. And he is supposed to support you. Hand them over. Lin Rutang screamed as her fingers were forcibly pried open, and the earrings were seized. I stood at the doorway watching this scene indifferently. Shao Wangyue, do you see? This is the true love you've been pining for, in the face of power and influence utterly vulnerable. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Though this mansion was bestowed by the Emperor, the annual maintenance and repair costs are extremely high. Now you've lost your salary and are burdened with debt. This mansion will soon be reclaimed by the Ministry of Works due to disrepair. By then you won't even be able to afford this empty shell." Sure enough, within 3 days, poverty and despair completely tore apart the masks of this pair of star-crossed lovers. After Xiao Wangyu was demoted in rank, all those fair-weather friends avoided him like the plague. He tried to borrow money, but couldn't even get through the door. Returning home, he faced Lin Rutang, who only knew how to cry and demand food and drink. "It is all your fault. If you hadn't seduced me, how would I have divorced Qingqiu?" Xiao Wangyu, driven mad by hunger, vented all his anger on Lin Rutang. Lin Rutang wasn't one to back down either, shrieking back, "Blame me. You are the one who is useless. Shen Qingqiu is a noble lady from a prestigious family, and you are just a good-for-nothing freeloader. If you weren't a marquise back then, who'd want anything to do with you?" The two grappled with each other, rolling in the mud like two wild dogs fighting over scraps. Lin Rutang was, after all, a woman with deep schemes. She could see that Xiao Wangyue, this sinking ship, was going down. While Xiao Wangyu was asleep, she stole the last valuable thing Xiao Wangyu had, his Earl's seal. Although this thing couldn't be sold, she used it to threaten Xiao Wangyue, forcing him to write a divorce letter. Then, she took the divorce letter, turned around, and married a wealthy merchant over 60 years old as a concubine. Although the merchant was old, at least he could give her a full meal. And at this time, I was sitting in the garden of the Duke Protector's mansion, hosting a flower, viewing banquet. The noble ladies and young masters of the capital all considered it an honor to receive my invitation. I wore luxurious robes of flowing brocade, surrounded by various talented young men. Some praised me for my talent and beauty, others admired my prestigious family background. No one mentioned any more that I was some divorced woman. On the contrary, everyone said I had a discerning eye, cut losses in time, and was the most clear-headed woman in Great Qian. My eldest brother Shen Qinghe walked to my side and handed me a cup of wine. "Little sister, I just received news. Xiao Wangyue couldn't pay the repair fees for his residence and was kicked out by the Ministry of Works. He is now wandering the streets." I took the wine cup and gently took a sip. "Oh really? That is truly unfortunate." In my tone there wasn't a hint of regret, only indifference, as if listening to the story of some completely unrelated passerby. "By the way, brother, I heard the silk business in the south has been doing well lately. I want to go see for myself. And also let the people of the capital see that the daughters of the Shen family can not only support their husbands and teach their children, but also manage affairs and benefit the people." My eldest brother looked at me dotingly. "Good, do whatever you want to do. The entire Duke Protector's mansion is your backing." Another year passed, already the wealthiest in the capital. Holding the Imperial merchant qualification, I ascended the city tower on the 15th day of the first lunar month to celebrate with the people. Below the tower, the masses cheered. Fireworks blazed brilliantly, illuminating the entire night sky. I stood at the height overlooking this prosperous era. Suddenly, in a corner of the crowd, I spotted a familiar figure. That figure was missing a leg, leaning on a crutch, holding a broken bowl in hand, staring eagerly at me on the tower. It was Xiao Wangyu. In just 2 years, he had aged like a 60-year-old man, his face covered in grime, his clothes barely covering his body. Our gazes met in the air for an instant. He opened his mouth, as if wanting to call my name, but he saw clearly the armed guards beside me glaring at him with fury, and saw clearly the rows of distinguished nobles behind me. That chasm was deeper than any natural barrier. He lowered his head in shame, hunched his neck, and limped into the dark alley. Like a rat that couldn't bear the light, the maid beside me asked in a low voice, "Madam, that was—" I withdrew my gaze, my expression indifferent. "Don't know him. Probably just some pitiful lunatic." As the last firework bloomed in the sky, I turned around and, surrounded by the crowd, descended from the tower. My future was a broad road paved with flowers and gold. I will continue to expand the Shen family's territory. I will support more talented scholars from humble backgrounds. I will live to become the most dazzling legend of the great Qian dynasty. As for Xiao Wangyu, that name has long since dissipated in yesterday's dust. He used the rest of his life to illustrate a principle. Don't try to cling to a noble lady from a prestigious family you can't reach, and don't try to kick her down after enjoying wealth and luxury. Because when the wealthy family leaves, you will not only lose your wealth, but also lose your dignity as a person. I Shen Qingqiu was born into a prestigious family, and naturally should soar through the 9 heavens. How can sparrows and swallows understand the ambitions of swans and geese? This is the life I should have. Oh my gosh, y'all. Can we just take a moment to stand up and slow clap for Shen Qingqiu? This is an ancient Chinese masterclass in asset liquidation. Too often in these stories, we see women trying to win back a man who belongs to the streets, or wasting energy fighting the mistress. But Shen Qingqiu looked at her marriage like a bad business investment, and immediately filed for bankruptcy on him. The way she physically dismantled that house, down to the paving stones and the kitchen walk, is the exact level of glorious, unbothered energy I'm trying to channel every single day. Let this be a lesson for all of us. Financial independence is your best armor. Lin Rutang thought she was stealing a high-value marquee, but she actually just adopted a broke adult toddler with a ton of debt. Meanwhile, our girl Qingqiu took her trust fund, moved back to her fabulous, supportive family, and became a self-made billionaire. She didn't just survive, she thrived and let karma do the heavy lifting. Seeing him begging on the streets years later while she is looking like a goddess on a balcony, that is the ultimate glow-up. Alright, my lovely ladies, I need to hear from you in the comments down below. The ultimate petty prize. If you were Qingqiu, what's the most petty thing you would have taken from the house? Honestly, I would have taken the roof tiles just in case it rained. Instant karma. Did anyone else belly laugh when the mistress realized she didn't inherit wealth, but a mountain of past due bills, family goals? How much did we love Qingqiu's dad and brother showing up like the ancient SWAT team to back her up? Pour yourself another glass of wine, smash that like and subscribe button, and hit the bell, so you never miss our tea sessions. Always know your worth, ladies, and see you in the next video.